And just to be clear, Black Lives Matter is not a nonprofit or registered 501c3 organization. It is a corporation.
Good morning, babes and baby lovers. My name is Ariel, as you know, and today I'm here with...
My name is Gina Florio. My day job is I work for Candace Owens. I'm her manager, and I help her manage her nonprofit called Blexit.
Important topic today because America's going crazy right now.
Very relevant.
Obviously, it's not my place to talk about Black Lives Matter specifically, but I have noticed that as a gay person, like the juxtaposition between Black Lives Matter and like the trans rights activists are so similar to me. If you're not with us, you're against us, or if you think differently, you're against us. I wanted to talk to you because you run an organization that is literally the opposite of Black Lives Matter.
Blexit, it speaks to a black exit from the left.
Right.
And we're very specific. We say the left because it's not so much of liberal or the Democratic Party, but it's just this mob mentality and the craziness and the illogical thinking of the left. Our chapters are always on the ground, actually helping Black America thrive. We did a conflict resolution program in North Carolina with some kids who have been in and out of juvie and struggling with behavioral issues. So we're always helping families thrive in Black communities. And so that's why we are the exact opposite of Black Lives Matter, helping Black America mend the major issues that have been plaguing their communities for many decades. It's been difficult and frustrating to watch the rise of BLM.
Ariel from the future coming in really quick, just to remind you that we are continuing this conversation about Black Lives Matter versus Blexit over on my slug.com page. Go to slug.com/Ariel. It's completely free. It's literally just a site that I adore because we get to talk about serious issues that are indeed need of conversations without fear of being judged, and it is literally just the people from this channel. So go and check it out. Slug.com/Ariel.
You don't know how many trainers I know and how many makeup artists and how many fashion designers are suddenly activists and advocates for Black America out of nowhere. And do you know how many of these trainers and people I follow on Instagram, I'm friends with online, do you know how many times I have shared links to donate to Blexit, to help Blexit, and not a single one of them has ever expressed interest in helping Black America? Because it wasn't trendy, it wasn't popular, and now I have people who have the audacity to come at me for not posting a black box. It's just funny to me that I have people, friends, reach out to me and they're like, listen, I just want to say, and it's like they come to me as if they're genuinely hurt. Listen, I just want to say that you have a big platform, you should be using your voice. So obviously nobody wants any person, regardless of their skin color, to be shot and killed by cops. Funny thing is that everyone across the political spectrum has agreed a long time ago that George Floyd's death, his murder, was unjust. So now if you take the concept that Black people are being gunned down disproportionately by police officers. So in 2019, of course, which is the latest data that we have, 9 Black people were killed by cops, unarmed by cops, right? And if you compare that to 19 white people who have been killed by cops, right? So then all of a sudden we're convinced that it's a systemic issue. It's a systemic
It's not about the killing.
Issue.
It's about a systemic thing. And it's like, okay, like let's talk about that.
And just to be clear, Black Lives Matter is not a nonprofit or registered 501c3 organization. It is a corporation. A lot of people come after Blexit and they accuse Candace or they accuse Blexit.
Going to Trump and you're supporting Trump, and it's like literally... No,
we legally literally can't do that.
Legally, as a not-for-profit, the money has to go back into the organization.
It's funny. It's genuinely funny to me when people are like, well, what about Blexit? I'm like, we are a registered 501c3 organization. You can see where every single dollar goes. Like, it is completely transparent. We have no ties to any political party, to any political candidate. We are actually on the ground helping Black Americans do better in school, mend their family life, get a better job. And this is what we do. And yet...
But it's not woke.
But it's not woke.
But apparently it's not woke.
Yeah, it's not woke. It's not trendy. And that's the thing that's so frustrating to me is that, like, I will give people the benefit of the doubt that a lot of people who are coming out in support of Black Lives Matter, I think they have a good heart.
They mean well.
They mean well. Black Lives Matter is the very last thing that is actually going to help Black America get better and is actually going to help Black America move from where they've been for the last few decades and move forward and thrive. And as soon as you say that, as soon as you point out that fact that, hey, there are way bigger major issues of facing Black America today. Fatherless homes, we need criminal justice reform, we need better school choice, the illiteracy rates in Black communities is much higher than any other racial group in America. And let's talk about the abortion rates. I mean, everyone has different opinions about abortion, but you can't deny the statistics that Black women are aborting their children more than any other racial group. The disproportionate rates are just insane. And one of the biggest reasons is because Planned Parenthood, they drop a location in every single poor Black neighborhood that they can. Between 2012...
Well, because they're making money off
Because they're making money. 2012 to 2016, more Black babies were aborted than born in New York. So we've got way bigger issues to tackle if we're talking about Black America thriving and doing better. We need to put fathers back in the home. We need to give kids a better education. We need to give more economic opportunity to them. We need to do more for these communities. And I promise you, if you made a list of the top 100 100 things that are devastating Black America today, systemic police brutality will not even make the list. We just listen to whatever the media tells us to do.
Well, 100%.
We just wait.
That's why everyone's running around with
what should we be mad at, CNN? I used to be an editor for mainstream media companies, and I know what it means to create fake news. I mean, that's why I left the industry, because I used to be liberal. I was very liberal, and
Really?
I used to create all kinds of content, and I used to create content in 2016 about how awful Trump was. And what most people don't know is that all of the major news networks that you watch, all of the media sites that you see online,
They're really owned by one. They're
they're owned by like 4 or 5 of the same corporations,
and they all have the same political views.
All of these corporations have very strong ties to the Democratic Party. So everything that we see online is specifically filtered, and it creates a specific narrative, so that we see the world in a certain way.
So one of the reasons I wanted to film this video with you, because I see so many like direct ties that are exactly the same kind of mentality in regards to the LGBT community, specifically in regards to trans rights. One example is how many people died from
9 people in 2019.
9 Black people were killed by police, and I think 2 trans women the last few months. And I think worldwide, 28 trans people, but we don't even know that they were actually killed for being trans. But just anytime somebody is killed
and they're trans.
Is a trans person, they assume that they were killed for being trans. Everybody goes absolutely mad over this fact. In reality, there are hundreds of thousands of females being mutilated every day and being raped every day just because they're female. Nobody cares.
Yeah, nobody even talks about it.
Yeah,
this is why I think it's important to note that the outrage culture, not only does it not do anything for Black people, for Black communities, and for women who are suffering, but even worse than that, it actually takes us further and further away from actually helping Black communities thrive, from actually helping the women who are being raped every day, who are being mutilated around the world, and it actually takes away from these real issues that are plaguing these communities in real ways. It's funny, right? Because it's a selfish thing, because people want something to be outraged about online and on camera, because it's like, it makes them look better. It like, because a virtue
how
signaling.
non-racist I am.
Yeah, I'm a good person. I care. I run this big fitness business, but I actually care. I'm a good person. I run this big makeup brand, and I run this big, I'm a fashion designer, but I actually care. But the thing is, you're not doing anything to actually help these people.
Virtue signaling has become so strong in the LGBT community, similar to the Black community, or people supporting the Black community, that we had a presidential candidate, I believe it was Elizabeth Warren.
I think it was, yeah.
That said, Black trans women are the backbone of this country. Yes, all 3 of them. Like literally, how many are there? I think I know 5, maybe. Yes, I'm sure that they do their own part. To virtue signal to that degree and completely ignore more real issues. That
more real
more
issues.
People.
Yeah,
100% clearly.
Yeah, because this is a good parallel between the two. They take a small number, like the number of trans women who've been killed in the last year or something, like, whatever the small number is, and then you also take in 2019 9 Black people who were killed by cops. They take these statistics and they somehow make them out to be a systemic issue.
Right.
Logistically and objectively, you can't really say that trans women are being killed on a systemic level. You can't just inflate that all of a sudden and then just say that Black people are being gunned down and it's a systemic police brutality. The numbers don't point to that. I mean, and this is why we need to be able to separate emotion from logic. Yes, we should care. Yes, we should have compassion for people who are killed unjustly, but that doesn't mean that you should let your emotions just run wild to the point where you don't have any more common sense, to the point where you don't listen to facts and objective truth. Statistics actually matter. And we've gotten to the point now where if you even talk about these statistics, and if you even have the guts to say, well, hey, trans women being killed is not a systemic issue. Hey, Black people being killed by cops is not a systemic issue. You're called transphobic and you're called racist.
Yeah. I don't know if the trans rights community got these ideas and the mentality from the Black community, or vice versa, but either way, they're so similar.
Well, that's the left. And here's the thing about the left is that it's in direct opposition to objective reality. And we were just talking about this before. So for example, this intersectional ideology, right? Transgenderism, as it's defined today, there's no such thing as a man or a woman. Transgenderism and feminism literally cannot coexist.
And I think people are making it out to seem like Black America and white America can't coexist. Which is ridiculous.
This narrative is ridiculous.
If you walk around the streets, literally, nobody gives a shit.
Nobody gives a shit.
Nobody gives a shit except these crazy activists.
And see, what's so funny to me is that I grew up in South Georgia, super Black, right outside Savannah, Georgia.
I think it's actually the most Black.
Savannah is 54% Black
that's
people.
where my friend lives.
My very first school teacher in kindergarten, she was a Black woman. I grew up around a lot of Black people, and it was just half and half. And anyone sort of like in between, especially when I was growing up, like being Asian or Indian or anything was sort of seen as weird. But Black or white, it was just normal.
Right.
I mean, I can count on on not even one hand the times that I've seen racism in the Deep South growing up. And we're talking about in the 90s and the early 2000s. Like, this is the time where we were told, like, this is where all the racism is in the South, in the Bible Belt. Like, I experienced a little bit of racism myself, but I think that was because we were, like, different. This is the thing that the left wants you to believe. The left is trying to convince you that in the broader sense that America is bad. And then they want to convince you that America is systemically racist. And they still try to convince us of that. But I just saw somebody tweet the other day, this black guy, he's like, the media keeps trying to tell me that everyone is racist, but I have yet to experience racism myself.
Another example of how Black Lives Matter or the Black Lives Matter movement is similar to, you know, the LGBT crazy activist movement is they will prop up a martyr, you know, somebody that like died for the cause, like now we can
make him a hero.
Like make them a hero.
What's another parallel between the two that's funny is that if you see someone, for example, in the black community speak out against Black Lives Matter, Candace or Brandon, then all of a sudden they lose their black card.
They lose their black card. You're not a real black person.
You're not a
like
real
Joe
black person.
Biden, what did he say? If you
said,
don't vote for me, you're not black.
No, but he said, you ain't black.
You ain't black. So he was trying to like speak the language. Another parallel is, you know, black conservatives or people that aren't going along with the hive mind narrative that the left is spewing, you know, said that they have internalized racism.
Internalized misogyny or racism, right.
Internalized misogyny. Or, Arielle, you don't agree with what, you know, what Hillary is saying or what this left person is saying, and it's like, you must be internalized homophobia. You must have internalized homophobia. Blair must be internalizing transphobia.
Oh, another one, they say you hate yourself. There's a lot of self-hatred there.
You hate yourself because these people hate you.
And like I said, going back to what I said before, I do think there are good people protesting for BLM who are in support of trans people. I think they have good hearts and they really do want to help. If you're watching this and if you're one of those people, well, actually do something about it. Then join these organizations and join the people who are actually on the ground really helping these communities, because I promise you, posting a black box on your Instagram or posting some picture of yourself at a pride parade, like that's not going to do anything for these communities.
Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, give it a big thumbs up and go and follow Gina and Candace. There's going to be a big red wave in both communities, the black community and the LGBT community, and I feel like Candace and I and you can like work together. And Blair and the walk away. The interesting thing is like the gays have the walk away movement.
Yeah.
And now the blacks have the Blexit.
The Blexit,
which is literally the same exact movement.
Right.
Which is another similarity, which is awesome. Let me know what you guys think in the comments.